Morning, everyone. Oh my gosh, that's so loud. Wow. This is fun. This was only supposed to be, please take your seats, and then we'll get started in 1 minute. Grab a coffee if you don't have one, or tea, or water, or some sugar, or, okay, we'll be back in 1 minute. Thank you, everyone. Can everybody hear me okay? I know the answer to that question. Thank you so much for coming. We are getting more cups and coffee, so that's great. Who had a great time yesterday? Awesome, awesome. If everybody at the same time could say their highlight out loud, go. Mine too. We're so happy you're here today on the third day of Flummunity Fest 2023. This is, of course, the best day, so you chose wisely to skip the marathon. Also, side note, I'm not sure if you know, and this probably won't surprise you, but Zandra Rhodes ran the half marathon this morning and is still front row right here, right? She just never stops. This is such a favorite session. We've done this every Flummunity Fest, and it is we repeat it every year because Fluevoggers always say that they love it so much, and everybody knows who I'm sitting beside here. This is Arabella Barros. She is the one and only head of the design department. Works very, very closely with John. Has massive involvement in every one of your favorite shoes, and even the ones that you don't like as much. So I'm just going to let you talk about your background, where you came from, how you got here, and tell us a little bit about that.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me well? Can you, John? So I'm originally from Brazil. I was born very close to the factory that is making our first shoes made in Brazil now. Yeah. So that's in the other end of the story. But I moved to São Paulo in Brazil when I was like 18 because I wanted to go to fashion school, and my plan was to go back to the south of Brazil to work with footwear because that's where the footwear industry is. That was my plan. Then living in São Paulo for about I don't know, almost 10 years, and working with fashion, things started to change, and I fell in love with someone there and decided to move to Canada.
Can you expand on that love affair?
He is the father of my daughter now.
Amazing! It all works out.
Yeah, no, we were both working for fashion, but it was like he wanted to work with film industry, and then I wanted to explore new things too. Let's see what's there in Canada, and it was supposed to be a one-year adventure. And we moved to Canada. Most Canadian brands are not very colorful, and yeah. So I was there, and I was enjoying the culture and the city, and my parents came to visit, and my mother went to the store, and because of John's motorcycle, my stepfather saw his motorcycle in front of the store, and they were like, what is this? Is it a shoe store? What's going on here? And then my mother fell in love with the shoes, and she asked Chad for a card, a business card. Went back to me, and she's like, you have to work there. You have to check this out. It's like the things you do. You love it. You love it. And I was like, okay. So I go on the website, and I see colors, and I see shapes, and I'm like, okay, this is different. So anyways, I started working as a designer and developer 11 years ago. And we started getting along and making fun things together. And 11 years later, I'm here.
Awesome.
And 11,000 shoes later, probably.
Was it easy to come aboard to Fluvog, or what were some of the challenges, and what were some of the things that were just natural?
I think that it's an interesting question because I feel like I spoke the Fluvog language, like I connected immediately, but I didn't speak English very well 12 years ago. So I didn't know some of the terms that they were talking, but when John was talking, I would understand what he wanted or what he was going for, and because I had the drawing skills, the computer skills, I could make it visually happen. So we had a visual design communication before we had a proper communication. Now we communicate very well. Most of the time.
Yeah. It sounds like, I mean, that's a great thing to say, is that there was a match there already.
Yes.
And that's very helpful. As you moved forward through your career at Fluvog, how do you balance your own creativity, the creativity of John and the rest of the design team, and also really the creativity of Fluvoggers in general?
It's a big mix of layers, and it's not a linear process. Every shoe is different. The collection process is similar every season, but every shoe has a different story and starts differently. So lately, John is way more into the overall silhouette of the shoes, the heels, the toe shapes, and I'm very passionate about textures and colors. I'm very obsessed with colors. I wear black a lot, but my brain is so colorful, and I think that's like sometimes so I can get through all my colors. And so like I'm really obsessed with like the pink from Peru has to match the pink from Portugal, like the different factories, different countries, like sourcing colors everywhere, but making sure that they connect and they are cohesive. So the prints, the materials, the textures, like that's kind of my layer. And then John will do the silhouettes and the heels, and we merge it all together. And my team is amazing. And we have someone doing 3D, so John will sculpt by hand a heel. And sometimes it looks like pretty much perfect. It could go straight to a mold making. But we have a team that will scan that in 3D and polish and make like symmetry or asymmetrical if we want. And yeah, there's a lot of fun for everyone. Like we all get to be very creative our own way, but then also collectively.
That sounds great. So you've got space to kind of exercise your own creativity,
we have a
bring
lot
it
of
to
freedom,
the group,
yeah.
and then just see how it goes. Not to put you on the spot, and John's not here for sure, but what's the best thing about working with John on a daily basis?
It never gets boring.
Yeah, that's great.
He's so unpredictable and predictable at the same time. So like it's kind of like I know where I'm going every day. I know I'll love it, but I never know how the day is gonna go. And even like some days we'll have a 2 hours long phone call and go over all his drawings and his projects, and he will be like, okay, I'll see you at the office tomorrow. And then he shows up with a bag of like 3 new platforms that he sculpted the day before. I'm like, oh, who are you? What are you doing? And so it never gets boring. And it's almost like I have a different job every 6 months, because it's a different collection, a different collab, and like working with Zandra and working with Anna Sui and her team, and now and George, you know, like it's so fun. I love it.
Now, just in that same theme, what's the best thing about working with Fluevoggers?
Well, you inspire us back, you know. So like I was just looking the plaid shoes, and then someone was wearing a plaid top that matches the shoe, and I just love that that back, you know. Like we are looking at Flummunity, and someone hand painted leggings, black and white with the warped heart print, and I just love that. It's like we never know if we're doing the right thing, and then when we see you all wearing it, it's like, yes, you got it. It made sense, you know. And sometimes you're like, oh, this shoe, it's not gonna sell a lot. It's not for everyone, but it's perfect for someone. And then when we see that someone, it's like it's that's so worth it, you know. It's what makes us keep going. And
Can you like talk to us about the timeline from ideation until a shoe finally lands on Amy's feet?
It starts with my 10 days rule. So that's a rule I have with John. If he doesn't, he always loves his latest idea. And then sometimes he hates it the next day and he's like, forget about it. I don't even know why I did it. And sometimes he won't stop talking about it, like forever. So I always give like a 10 days. And I tell my team too, like, don't react right away. Just give him some space. And so that's how we gauge if we are going to proceed with that one.
It's really great that he's not here.
Yeah. But I think that's on the book. I think that's on the book. It depends. Like the Soul Speed, that new project. That one I think was about 2 years. Like some projects can take over like 3 years from idea to store level, because it will involve a new last or a new hue, a new mold, multiple molds. Sometimes we start them in one factory and then we decide to take to another country or another factory. because we can make them exactly like we want. So it could go for like from 3 years to maybe like 3 months if it's something we want to just change the color.
Can you talk to us about that difference from something brand new, a new family and a new style, versus a new style in an existing family versus a new color in an existing style?
How much time do we have?
I guess maybe, thinking about timelines, like it sounds like for a new style and a new family, we're talking years. And yeah, maybe just like how many steps are there and how do they differ from each other?
I think it all depends on how committed the whole team is, and that's not just design, that's buying. Stefan is right there, and Adrian, Steven, marketing. So during the pandemic, for example, we wanted to do a limited edition Gladstone, the gold and pink one. And if we have the materials that we were using on something else, and it's not a new shoe, it's just a new color on a shoe that we produce, that can be done quickly. Like we can get a sample in 2 weeks. And if it's a pre-order, it can be on the website in 2 days. But then not for sale, like for pre-order. And then production will depend on what the factories have to do. So it could be like a 2 to 4 months process from idea to stores.
That's
for a new color.
A new color,
yeah.
Okay.
If it's a new style on a family that we already do, like a slacker, for example, but a new upper pattern, that would usually be a year. And if it's a new heel, a new toe, then that could be 2 years, like 3 years. So I would say from 6 months to 3 years.
Wow. There was one question online as well about, you mentioned limited editions. How do you decide what is going to be the next IFD shoe, the next Flummunity Fest shoe, and other limited editions versus the general stock, which incidentally is also limited edition? I mean,
everything is limited edition.
But how do you decide on those specialty items?
It depends. Like so the last IFD, the blue floral one, we wanted to do a small capsule collection because we wanted to do the scarves, and we had the super cute like magnets, and so that was sometimes we have a strong idea that doesn't fit with the rest of the collection, but we feel really strong about and we want to do it. So the limited edition IFD or Flummunity, it's a great place to like launch that, like independent from the seasonal collection. Sometimes we just see comments on Flummunity, like, oh, I wish it was in blue, I wish it was a higher heel or a lower heel, or, and we take notes, and then the next opportunity we have, we brainstorm around it. And when it's collaborations, like, there's always the other side, like Zandra or Anna, or what they are thinking. But there's no, like, rule, like...
Are there any particular families that are more difficult to work with than others, humans or shoes? Let's start with humans. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Let me think. Some factories are, I wouldn't say difficult, but we have different challenges, like in different places. Like some places make shoes by hand. So that makes it easier one way, because there's a lot of like attention to production. But then if that red patent Desmond shoe is sold out, because it's made by hand one by one, we can do a reorder like right away and restock production. So that is one challenge. There's the pros and cons, you know. And then other factories are super quick, but they're like faster production, and then we have to make sure that the shoes will be carefully put together, you know.
Can you tell us a little bit about those relations with the factories? Are they very familiar or less so?
They're almost like friends or family now, like, because we work with them for so long. we work with many factories, and most of them are family business, if not all of them are family business. And like some of them, like our bag factory in Portugal, I think when the owner's son was like 4 years old, John gave him like a dollar bill, and they have a picture of the boy who now is a man holding that dollar bill, blessed by John. And the factory in Peru, like the son had a daughter, and like she's a baby, and I keep getting photos of her like on my WhatsApp every day, and then we name shoes after them, and they call us to check on, like, so now I'm going to Brazil on a show, and then someone from Peru is gonna meet me there because they can, and we are kind of friends and we wanna see each other, so that makes it easier and more fun.
Which family of shoes are you most excited about right now?
I was saying this morning that I'm wearing this to prove that you can go out at night and work the next day with this boot. That's what I'm. Well, they look very high, but they're not very high. They feel like the F trips, because it's the same last and the same foundation, just elevated. They're called Superflies. They're on the cover of the Fluevog Post and should be in stores, Stefan. Very soon. Yeah. I'm obsessed with this one. I love it. Yeah. And the sole speeds, like that's what I'm alternating. I was wearing the Sky High Fs for I think a year. And then John was like, Arabella, I need to design a new shoe for you. You're wearing that shoe too much. We need something new. And then we came up with this. I love it. And the sole speed, that's an interesting, it's a different story, because I would say that's not what we usually, it's new for us. It's a little bit out of our comfort zone, but it's very comfortable. And yeah, so there was a lot of people working on this shoe, from John's first hand sculpted prototype to then scanning in 3D, then modeling the sole and the sole graphic with help of marketing and graphic design, and sculpting the head, this angel here, and the print from Zandra, and it's coming in black, white, and red. And you know, the market is going like in a sneaker direction, like lots of people are wearing more sneakers, and they're super fabulous, like fun sneakers. And the low pro family was selling super well for us, like everyone was getting a pair, like the metallic one. So this shoe started with that last. It's the same foundation as the low pro, just a more interesting and exaggerated sole.
Yeah, this looks, I mean, I've got an inside scoop on it, but this is something that's years in development, correct? Yeah. Even the sole. I mean, can you talk a little bit about this sole?
So this sole is a combination of EVA. It's a hard density EVA, so it's lighter, the green part, and the bottom is like a TPR. It's a type of rubber. So the bottom is very resistant. The sides are light and squishy. And like you've seen, following seasons, we are playing with pearlized finishes and transparent finishes. And like we can have a lot of fun with like two-tone, two components on the sole. We love that. We love when we have the opportunity of doing a monochromatic look and then also have fun with textures and colors. And it's pretty light, like it looks chunky and it has a big personality, but I wouldn't say you can run a marathon on this shoe, like probably not the best one. We are making one that maybe you can, but that will be here in like a year, hopefully. But I take mine to the gym and can walk all day and like, but there was a lot of 3D technology to make that sole happen.
Okay, and then also, did everybody get a chance to see next season's sneak preview in person? That's great. Can you tell us a little bit about what from that collection you're excited about, and then beyond that, colors, fabrics, shapes, styles that has you excited about the future?
That collection is very colorful. Like we have 3 capsule like themes for that collection. Like we used to have one theme for the whole collection, and because we like to do different styles, like we started dividing the collection into vibes. And one that my team, like we are super excited, is this like Y2K vibe, like 2000. And at first I was like, does this make sense? And then one day John arrives there and he said, oh, I got this new car. It's like a 2000 something. And we were like, oh, so John is into the 2000s. So maybe that is a vibe. So we have the Future Angels, like now in smaller sizes, like Mary Jane's. Like that is very exciting because they're super comfortable. They fit everyone. So that is exciting and very colorful, color blocked. I love the Soul Speeds with the spikes. Silver one, I don't know if anyone saw that. Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of exciting.
Okay. Oh, it's Q&A time now. Thank you. So questions from the audience?
So if it takes 2 or 3 years sometimes to develop something, do you guys go to fashion shows to see what's up and coming, to get ideas? And how does that work with staying with trend or ahead of the trends when it takes that long to produce?
That's an excellent question because I wouldn't say that we follow trends. Like I think we follow our essence more than anything. But of course we have to be aware of trends, especially if they're like macro trends. Like for example, everyone is wearing sneakers or like flats, like that type of trends. We have to be aware because we also want to provide the best piece of footwear for the moment that we are living now, and But the trends, like I was having a good conversation with Judy from Anna Sui yesterday. Now everyone is talking about quiet luxury. And that is a trend that everyone is talking about. And then they're like, oh, so what are you going to do for quiet luxury? And we were laughing because none of our brands are quiet. Yeah, very luxurious, but not quiet. And so when everyone goes minimalist, it's like we know now that like if the fashion industry is minimalist, 6 months from now or 8 months from now, it's gonna be maximalist. And then that's how it goes. It's a contradiction. And we know who we are. Like we are creative and unique people. So like we have to be watching what's going on, but we usually do our own thing. And trying to be relevant to the needs, but not the trends, if that makes any sense.
Good answer.
It seems like you guys are right on trend with what's happening, and so that's what made me think somehow you guys knew that this was coming.
The question, just for the internet, is that it seems like you're on trend all the time.
Sometimes it happens, yeah. Maybe they are following us. Yeah, like sometimes we see people like making versions of monsters or like things that we do, and yeah.
So you've said you follow Flummunity and get hints from that. Ballpark figure, how many Flummunity posts do I have to make to get this color in every single shoe you carry?
Can you bring it up?
Can Stefan answer that one?
Oh, yeah.
Noted. I love this one. You don't have to ask me anytime.
Another question there.
Can I just say one thing about this question? There was one post once about John Fluevog, please make a pink Malibran. I don't know if anyone remembers that. There was a request or a Facebook group or something, and then we made it.
Okay, so I'm kind of veganish. I mean, right now I'm wearing Tammy Rose, so you know. But I'm wondering what makes you decide to make a shoe vegan or not, and why, which I find very disappointing sometimes. There's shoes that are fabric exteriors or brocade or whatever, but maybe one version is vegan and another version of that shoe, even though there's no leather on the outside, is not.
That's another excellent question. Someone asked me that the other day, so I have an answer. I would say like the look of the shoes and the design, the outside design is like comes first. So like so first we decide like that boot, the floral one, for example. That's a good example. They could be vegan, but the heel wrap is a leather heel wrap, and it would not look the same. Like the look of this heel would not be the same if it was a faux leather wrap. And sometimes the technical aspects of the construction, like we couldn't paint this heel for other reasons. So like if the heel was wrapped with leather, we couldn't call the boot vegan. And there are other technical things. Like in this case, it worked. The lining is vegan too. But sometimes the vegan linings or the vegan materials, they won't mold or stretch or be lasted the same way as leather. And that would compromise the fit or the integrity of the shoe. So whenever it's possible to find an alternative material to leather that will still keep the look and the concept of the shoe, we do it. Like all the blue metallics that we have this season, we fell in love with that material regardless of being leather or non-leather. And sometimes for the look, the liquid metals, that pink shoe. So sometimes it's easier to achieve some visual results with a non-leather material because of technology, foils and like prints, than leather. So when it's possible to put a vegan lining and have non-leather and then wrap the heel, we do it. But we won't compromise the lasting and the fit and the structure of the shoe to use a synthetic material. But more and more, suppliers are making alternative materials like mushroom leather, pineapple leather, and it's just challenging to do all the colors that we love. Sometimes we found a really nice leather made out of grapes, and we did some wear tests. Steven has a pair, and it's really nice. But then the color scheme is limiting for us, and we know we always want to do colors, so.
I think it's fun to see all of these new materials coming out, and a lot of them are in their infancy. And while they're very, very exciting, that wear test of the grape leather, it held up incredibly well for grapes. Like it was mind blowing, you know. But by the third or fourth month, you could really start to see it, and so. What we can say is that we're aware of all those things and we're testing them all the time, and it's kind of an exciting time to be around because they're moving so quickly, right?
Yes. Yeah, more and more, like and like the whole conversation about vegan sustainability, like there's so many ways you can approach that, because some people will believe that vegan is better because of the like animals, but then some people will be like, no, vegan is not so good because of environment and plastic. So there's so many aspects, and because the majority of our line is leather, we have leather in the store design, so we're never gonna stop using leather. And if we do a vegan program or a vegan collection, Like it still has to go with the whole vibe of the company and colors and design. Yeah.
Yeah, anytime, because everybody's really involved in this area and really wants to make. I mean, really, we are dedicated to trying to get all Fluevoggers the things that are the most important to them. So, like you mentioned, for the vegans that are focused on animal welfare, then this side is what they're interested in. For those who are motivated by environmental concerns, okay, now we're looking at grape and the way to treat and finish those materials. Being one of those people who loves educating myself in that space, Arabella and John and the team are so far ahead of what I come across, and so it's so comforting to know that they are paying so much attention to that, because ultimately we're trying to get everybody's boxes checked, to get them Fluevogs that they love, that also match who they are and what they stand for.
This will be the last question.
Hi.
Hi.
I know you have a project called Open Source Footwear. I'm curious how you decide who wins, and do you have a judge commission that sits down and looks at every design? And how do you decide which family it goes to?
Good question. It's not every season that we do open source. I think the last one we did was the Guardian Angel, the print. Yeah, it's right. And it depends. It's kind of like the limited edition. Like we look from time to time. Sometimes John will look and he will say, "This is great. We should do this one." And sometimes the design team, sometimes marketing. So it's different every time. And sometimes it inspires a new heel. So it's not like the upper design. Like I think the Queen Transcendent shoe was like that. Like someone submitted a heel and then that inspired John and he designed that heel and we made that whole family. Sometimes it's the upper design and we choose a family that would be suitable for that design. And in this case was the print that we loved. And now there's a new color coming on that same shoe. Yeah. And there was a question the other day about how are we going to deal with AI and open source. So that's interesting. Because now everyone is using AI, and then we were like, what if people start submitting AI open source? What are we going to do? Hmm?
Yeah, the comment is it would be hard to tell in some cases. Some cases it would be easy to tell, I think, which would be funny. But yeah, I think it's just inevitable, I suppose. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's hear it for Arabella.
Thank you.
We'll be back in 10 minutes with Andrew.
everybody. Attention! Test, test. Hey, everybody. Okay, so I think there's going to be a lot of shopping going on during this, which is awesome. Please continue. But I'm going to do a little shoe care demonstration. First of all, my name's Andrew. I've met most of you guys already. Hi, everyone. I've been with the company for just a little over 10 years now, and I love it. And this is like my favorite new weekend that we've been doing. Before we only had IFD to really get all the ravenous Fluevoggers in here, but now we get a whole weekend with you all, and it's been so fun. So thank you for coming. I'm going to give you guys a little shoe care demonstration. I've been doing this my third year in a row now, and believe it or not, there's only so much shoe care stuff I could show you guys. So I pulled out a lot of big tricks last year with the lemon pledge. I don't know if you remember that. Toothpaste. I'm going to touch on all of that again today. But I apologize for the people that were here the last 2 years, because you're going to see a lot of repeats. So I figure I'm going to polish these shoes. I'm going to polish this one and leave this one unpolished. You guys can see the difference. These are my lovely girlfriend's shoes, Jessica. Everyone clap for Jessica. She's been, thankfully she lent these to me. So, and then I'm going to show you how to polish a patent leather shoe in a really cool way. So, some new stuff I thought I could show you that I hadn't talked about before is ways to make our beautiful shoes fit your feet, even if it doesn't quite work for your foot, but you really want it on your foot. Okay? Yeah. A few of you guys have seen stuff like this, or like this, or like the full insoles and stuff. So basically, if you guys, some of you have narrow heels, and that's fine, but some of our heels aren't so narrow, and you want to wear those shoes, I highly recommend these. They're just little heel grips. If you guys ever buying a Fluevog shoe in the store, we'll give you these to make them work. And they basically, this is a really strong adhesive, so I'm not going to do it for real right now. But let's say Jessica's heels were slipping out of these. This, you just peel it off, and it goes in the shoe like this. I don't know if everyone can see. And that basically prevents your heel from sliding out, and it secures your heel. A lot of people think blisters and stuff like our foot problems, a lot of those foot problems, they think it's from a shoe that's too tight. It's usually from a shoe that's too loose. Because as you walk throughout the day, if you're having a little bit of rubbing, even if it's like this much, your foot shifts in the shoe, over the course of your 10,000 steps during the day, it's going to cause a little blister. So when you're buying a shoe, you want to have like a snug fit. I like to use the word snug. It's not tight, but it's not loose either. Okay, it kind of hugs your foot, and that means that the leathers will like shape around your foot, and they'll kind of mold to your foot. So you get a custom shoe over time. That's the beauty with leather products, is they actually it is skin, so it kind of just molds to your foot, which is nice. Another problem that people have. Does anyone here, their toes slide to the front of the shoe? Okay, I'm glad someone said yes. Basically, this is called a toe halter, okay? And everyone makes the same mistake when they buy these. They put them in because it's pointy, and they're like, oh, I'm going to put it in the toe like that, okay? It should be the other way around. It goes like this, okay? And then, ooh, okay? Say these are my really long toes, okay? And this is the bottom of my foot. It basically sits like this, and it prevents your foot from going forward, okay? So it keeps your foot back and secure, and that's a great way to solve that problem too. It's too often I feel like people try on the shoe in the store, and they really like it. I could tell they like it, but they have like a fit issue, and they just think, oh, this isn't gonna work, because of maybe past experiences at other stores where the staff don't give enough attention to making it work for them, but our staff are super well trained, and they'll make that shoe work for you. And honestly, if it's not going to work for you, they'll tell you that, okay? We don't want you guys leaving and wearing shoes that are going to hurt your feet in the long run, because that's not our brand, and we don't want you telling other people that our shoes are uncomfortable. So, but yeah, that's a little bit of fit stuff. Another thing that we don't talk about much here is shoe trees. You guys seen these? Okay, so these are awesome. They're usually made of like cedar. Cedar's like an antibacterial wood. It's good, and bacteria causes stink and smells and stuff, so it's great for making your feet or your shoes smell good, and your feet too, consequently. And it also holds the shape of the shoe, okay? Because you all see these happen over time, these wrinkles. This will secure it, and basically those wrinkles won't form as easily. They'll still happen, but it'll really prolong the life of your shoes. And if you honestly, you should have one for every pair of shoes, but that's kind of unrealistic. Yeah. But if you just have one of these and you just put it in the shoes that you wore that day, that'll really help prolong the life of your shoes. And then when it starts to not smell cedary at all, just take some sandpaper to it and it'll bring that smell back to you, okay? But highly recommend these. Or you can just buy more Fluevogs. That's cool too. But yeah, I'm gonna get into a shoe care demonstration now with these. So the first thing you wanna do when you're cleaning a shoe is just wipe off all of this dust and stuff. So if you have a brush, which you should, just basically brush it off, get rid of all those surface stuff, because you don't wanna grind in any dirt into the leather. And then you're gonna just take a rag, t-shirt rag, old shirt, whatever you got at home, and you just gotta spray it with some water. That works. There it is. And don't like soak the shoe, but you just want to get rid of any more of that dust that's on there. Then you always want to let it dry. You don't want to work on a wet shoe, okay? Because I just sprayed that just right, it's not even wet right now, so we can get going on the next part. Okay, so shoe care is a lot like skin care. Again, leather skin, okay? So we have cream, which is like your skin cream, okay? So it keeps the leather healthy, moist, so it doesn't dry out. Dried leather causes cracks, so we don't want cracks. So a good way to test this kinda is on that wrinkly part of your shoe where your toes bend. That's the part of the shoe that dries out the fastest usually. So just run your fingers along there, and if it feels dry, you'll know. That's a good time to put on some shoe cream, okay? So we're gonna do that with these. They come in like a neutral color too, because we have so many wild colors, and we do have a lot of shoe creams in a lot of different colors, but sometimes you can't get the exact match. I highly recommend just using a neutral in that situation, even though it's not, what's the word? A color, pigment, thank you. Even though it's not a pigment, it'll still pull up some of that natural color that's in the leather, okay? But these are black, these are easy, that's why I chose them. We're gonna do black leather here, okay? I recommend you cut your t-shirt rags, if you can, into little strips like this. It just makes it really easy to work on. And you're gonna wrap it in your finger, and you're gonna just wrap it around, okay? And what you're trying to do is create an even surface, which I will do, okay? So it's like a flat surface. It's not all bumpy and a bunch of other pieces because you want to make a smooth application to the shoe, okay? So I'm just going to take this, less is more, just a little bit, okay? You can't take any away, but you can always add more. Make sense? Okay? So I'm just going to apply this evenly over the shoe. Got to make sure I'm showing you guys in the camera. And if anyone has any questions, like while I'm doing this, please ask, because otherwise I'm just going to be doing this, and you guys are going to be watching me. Does anyone have any questions about shoe care or anything?
Okay, if you get your shoes and you spray them to protect them, the ones that you can spray.
Yeah.
And then how long of a time period can you wear them before you spray them again?
So the spray, it's I always try to use an analogy of like, I don't have the spray here. Anyway, our all protector spray, you basically just, It's you hold it about like 10 inches away from the shoe and do like a nice fine spray over top of it. It adds like a thin layer of waterproofing protection basically to it. Okay, but what happens is that layer is there until something rubs it off. Okay, so I know you guys, your shoes don't stay perfect looking all the time, right? So you guys scuff them and stuff, you knock your feet together. When you do that, you're compromising that seal. So really, depends on how rough you are on your shoes kind of thing. But I don't recommend spraying your shoes all the time unless you're like very clumsy, which is fine. If you spill a lot of drinks on your feet and stuff like that, then I think you should like live by our all protector spray. It's for you. But what it is doing, it is sealing the leather, right? So that prevents the leather from like breathing, and that can dry out the leather. Okay, so if you can, don't use it every single day, just when you need to. Or if you look outside and it's going to rain, that's the time to do it. Okay. But in general, if you can, the best way to do things is this way, okay? Because you can, these shoes, like, it's skin again. You guys can get wet in the rain and you guys don't melt or anything, right? So you can get these wet and you can maintain them. They can, like, not look great like these right now. They're not the best they could look. But if you do this, like this process of taking care of your shoes, I recommend, like, once a month, like, putting on your favorite show or movie or putting on an album, and just getting your shoe care kit and grabbing all your Fluevogs and just sitting down and making them all look beautiful again. It's honestly, I get a big kick out of like seeing something and then making it look beautiful. And yeah, and that's the best way to maintain your shoes. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, yeah. You might have to put it on like the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition. But yeah. That's a start. Yeah, that's a start, maybe, yeah. Move on to the Star Wars 1 through 9, yeah. We'll make it happen. Maybe do one shoe a day or something. Okay.
Yeah, it's good to know that you can use the spray that often, because I didn't know if you had to wait 6 months or a year.
No. Okay. It wears off, and then you just want to put it back on again. But again, if you can avoid doing it every day, that is good.
Thank you. I noticed on that pair there looks like there may have been like a little scuff on the side, so I'm curious about how you deal with like little nicks and scuffs and treating those and trying to repair them.
So this one, if I wasn't doing this live in front of you guys, I would actually, so they're talking about that. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but there's like a little nick in the leather. It's kind of peeling back here. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I used to do like a lot of shoe repair at the distillery store when I managed it. It was fun, and it's cheaper than sending it to a cobbler, and I could do it myself. And again, I like making things look better. But basically, I would take like a really, really small amount of barge cement. It's a really good glue that we use. It's great for rubbers and leathers and adhesives. And I would take a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit and just touch it on there and then press it down. That'll secure it, and you won't have, and then you can like polish over that and really mask it. In this scenario, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to polish over it. In the event that actually tears off, like which happens sometimes, polishing it will, like if you once I do all this, you'll kind of see it. You got to really be looking for that blemish to find it again. But that's what I'd recommend, yeah. And if you're not comfortable doing any of this at home, like please come to one of our stores. Like we love doing this. If it's too much for the store to do, we'll take it to one of our cobblers, and they're wonderful too. And that's the nice thing about Fluevogs. They're made to be loved and like maintained over time. A lot of shoes these days are not meant that way. They're meant to be thrown out so they can just sell more of them. Okay.
Can you talk to me about like this type of care for this type of leather? It's like the suede leather.
So there's like levels of suede, kind of. There's like a regular leather, and then there's like a nubuck, which is like a really fine suede, kind of, and then there's like suede. Suede, I like to use the analogy, right, for suede, I'm going to take this off. I like to use the analogy of like a shag carpet kind of thing. A shag carpet can get, or any carpet, I guess. Shag's just more fluffy. But basically, it can get all matted down, and it's not so nice looking. It's not what you bought, right? In order to lift that up, you're going to like, you could take like a comb or something to your carpet and like lift it up, okay? That's kind of what's happening with suede, is it gets all matted down over time, and you just got to re-lift that up again to get the carpet standing up again, okay? So with suede, you're doing, this is a suede brush, if anyone's ever seen one. You want to use the metals brush side, okay? So you're basically gonna, let's pretend, sure, yeah, that's a good idea. So this isn't technically suede. It's like this is a matted suede, actually on purpose, basically. So you can like, let's fluff this up a little bit. I don't know if that's gonna work on this one, but basically you want to take these bristles, and you don't want to like scrub it. You want to do a lifting motion, okay? And you're gonna lift. Oh, it's working. Yeah. So you're gonna like, we're gonna turn this non-quite suede shoe into a little bit of suede. But you kind of just do this, and you'll see little flakes of leather coming off. That's not bad, okay? It's gonna happen every time because it's not a carpet. It's actually leather. You're actually like kind of like tearing little pieces off and lifting it up, yeah. Because of that, though, you can only do that so many times before you run out of leather to work with. So like, don't do this every day, but if you notice a particular spot gets matted down, often it happens if you spill something on it or rubbing.
Like on your heels.
Yeah, when your feet rub together and stuff, those parts get worn down faster. Just do this little brushing motion, and don't go hard at first. Always start light and then work your way up until you get what you want. Okay? And then this side is for nubuck. Nubuck's really hard to work with, okay? But it's rubber, so it's like a little less abrasive, and you're doing the same kind of thing though with it, okay? Sure, thank you. I'm gonna get back to this for a sec. So we've applied the cream to it, okay? So it's moisturized. Now we want to apply the polish. So like shoe cream, again, that's like skin moisturizer, it keeps the leather healthy. The polish is kind of like makeup, basically. It adds a little layer over top, but it doesn't make the skin healthier, okay? Unlike your face, you won't wash it off at the end of the day, but you do, it'll wear off over time, okay? There's the black one.
Andrew, can we ask another question?
Yeah, please.
Hi there, over here.
Oh, okay.
I had a question about shoes that are made out of lots of wonderful different things. These
Yeah.
have patent leather on the toe, patent leather on the heel, leather on the front, tapestry on the side. How do I look after these things? How do I clean them?
So those are harder to do. You might have to put on even more movies for those, but
So
basically.
can I spray them first of all? And
Yeah.
can I spray them with the all-purpose spray?
I wouldn't spray patent leather.
Yeah.
Patent leather is it's leather with like plastic over top, so plastic's already pretty good at protecting stuff, so you don't have to do that. But the fabric you can for sure. So with that shoe in particular, I don't know if people can see that one. It's like it's got patent on the toe and the heel, and then it's like a upholstered part in the middle, and then leather on the where you tie your laces there. So basically, with that one. With fabrics, it is a fabric, so like just a mild like diluted soap solution and like a toothbrush, you can kind of like scrub it and stuff. With patent, you know what? Let's just go to the patent because we're talking about patent right now. This shoe is patent, okay? It's not as shiny as it could be. It's a little smudged up. It's been handled a lot. A great solution for this, which I learned from a really good cobbler in Vancouver. I was like, that's awesome, is basically lemon pledge, okay? It's lemony fresh, and it makes your shoes smell nice, and it's great on patent leathers, okay? So I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but it's not so shiny. It's got a lot of fingerprints on it and stuff. We're gonna make this like a mirror finish, okay? So you just take some lemon pledge, apply it to your microfiber cloth. Microfiber cloth's important, okay? and then you're just gonna literally just rub it on, like you're cleaning a table or something. Right? Like, isn't it wild? I like that. That's good. Wow. But like, come on. Yeah, and that took like a second. If I put more effort into this, it'd be really, yeah, clap. But like, why don't we all know this, you know?
We have a follow-up question for
Yeah.
Patton.
Hi, Andrew. I have a pair of patent shoes where the color has bled through at the back seam there. I'm wondering if there's something I could have done to prevent it, and if not, is there something I can do to fix it now?
Can I see it? Oh. Sometimes we get new things that we haven't seen before. We'd have to talk a little bit more about this one. I'm not sure. Let's actually talk after this though, because yeah, I gotta know more about how this occurred and stuff. Oh, really? So this is just in like a day? Oh. Let's talk. Yeah. So I have a feeling this is like a glue thing or something. But I'm gonna take a look at this. Are you wearing these? No. Oh, okay. I'm gonna keep your shoe here, okay? But let's talk after, because I have a few more follow-up questions about that.
So follow up on Patton, where the plastic starts to separate from the leather, what can you do about that? Like at that wrinkled area?
Oh, when it cracks.
It's starting to, yeah, it's starting to lift. I live hard, so.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Okay, so one thing we get sometimes, especially with people that buy Fluevogs for the first time, and it's a more expensive purchase than they're used to, a lot of people kind of assume that like the more expensive something is, the more durable it is. Whereas oftentimes it's like the opposite, right? We make a lot of like really beautiful, delicate looking shoes, and sometimes they are really beautiful and really delicate. We call them like kind of like special occasion shoes and stuff. You don't want to wear them in like a rainy day or anything like that, but you want to wear your shoes, right? So patent leather, it's awesome because you can just pledge it clean and make it perfect in like a second. But the downside to patent leather is that once it does crack, there's not much you can do with that. You can kind of mask it with like a clear nail polish and stuff that kind of works. There's some products from some shoe care companies that work a little bit, but it's really not gonna, it's gonna mask it. It's not gonna look the same as before, unfortunately. To avoid that, shoe trees are really good for that, okay? Because that'll it'll prevent it from like setting that way. Because what happens is that the plastic, if you take your shoes off and leave it overnight, it's staying in one position for like 8 hours or 10 hours or until you wear it again, maybe a week later. So it really sets. And then when you want to move it again, that's when it can kind of start to crack. So like a shoe tree is really good. If you don't have a shoe tree, like you can just stuff like socks in there or whatever, but the shoe tree, because of the cedar elements and stuff, it promotes airflow. It's a really good purchase.
Instead of a shoe tray, could you just get the inserts that stop the crease? You know, you get like the toe crease inserts, but they're just a bit of plastic. They're probably not as good for the shoe. Have you seen them? They're like a square bit of plastic, and when you walk, you don't get that crease.
Like you have it. So the question is about replacing, instead of a shoe tree, using a plastic cappy thing, insert.
That stops the crease. But if you just kept that in, would that keep the shape more?
Is it something you have while you're wearing it? Like you wear it
Yeah.
and the plastic's in there while you're wearing it?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this. Maybe it's a London thing. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'm curious about what that is, though. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we got another question here.
Oh, one over here.
Oh. Hey.
Does John Fluevog sell the care kit?
Yeah. So we sell all of this stuff. So like we have these brushes.
But as a kit together, though?
No, not as a full kit together.
There's a marketing thing.
Yeah, we did at one point.
We used to have.
Yeah, we made like a wooden box kit and stuff. Yeah. I think Stefan might be listening to this right now, so you guys might get a little something like that. But yeah, our products, like just so you know, like John Fluevog didn't make this brush himself, but we use really good quality product. Okay, so our shoe care product, like this stuff, is made by Le Saphir. It's a French brand. It's pretty much been the same ingredients for like 100 years now, and it's well known as like some of the best product that you can use. And then all these brushes and stuff, this is all horsehair. Horsehair is really good. Does anyone know why? It doesn't hold on to stuff as much as other hair and stuff. So when you put like a cream on it or a polish, it's not gonna like get all gunky in the hair. It will stay loose like this. But yeah, horsehair. I forget the question, but I think I answered it. Right? Yes, the kit. Yes.
So the pledge polishes it, but does it protect it? I mean, does it make it lubricate it?
No. So again, the patent leather, it's literally plastic over leather. So you're just buffing the plastic basically.
So I have a question on a more vintage pair that I have that I hadn't worn in a while, and when I was looking through my collection, I was like, oh, I should wear these, and I'm like, oh, they kind of smell a little damp, and they've got some white spots on them.
White spots?
Yeah.
Like mold or?
I was hoping more mildew.
Okay.
I don't know.
Honestly, like a vinegar and water solution, like that vinegar is great for like killing stuff. So you can basically, it molds a live thing. So you can like use a vinegar and water solution, like 1 part vinegar, 3 parts water, spray that on a cloth and just wipe it off. That should take care of it. The smell part, like I recommend like leaving it in like a drier area. But in general with your shoes, like since we're talking about storage and stuff, like try to keep your shoes in a temperature neutral area. So it's where it's not like going up and down a lot. Basically, because it is leather, again, like say you put the shoe in like your garage over the course of the winter or something like that. What happens is the leather constricts when it gets cold, and then there's a lot of like natural fats and solutions in here that's used during the treatment of the leather. And what can happen is the leather shrinks and it squeezes out that stuff, and you might see like a white, milky kind of substance. It's called, it sounds gross, it's called spewing technically. I know. But the nice thing about that is it's really easy to fix. You just apply heat to the shoe. So if you have like a hair dryer, like it's kind of like magic. If you see that, like it's kind of like a milky layer over chalky kind of look. Yeah.
Like when chocolate blooms.
Yes, it's exactly the same thing. Yeah. So it's like a chocolate bloom. Because I'm realizing the internet can't hear this, but basically, yeah. If you just take like a blow dryer and just apply it like over the shoe, it'll just disappear and it's absorbing back into the leather, which you want. You don't want to like wipe it off because that stuff's supposed to be in the leather.
And can I do that with suede as well? Because it's actually a suede and leather shoe.
What, with the heat?
With the heat or the vinegar?
Yeah. I would try the heat first. If it is the spewing thing, because that'll fix it. If it's actual mildew, then you're going to want to use the vinegar. And honestly, you're going to try it on the suede, because if it doesn't work, then you got moldy shoes and they're not going to work anyway, right? So. Oh, well, no, I hope you can wear them now. Yeah. Try those things. Honestly, like it's a good solution.
So regarding that black shoe that was just in your hand, if the shoe cream is like moisturizer and the shoe polish is like makeup, does that mean that shoe polish is optional?
Shoe polish is optional,
okay.
Right? Like I'll demonstrate that with this, because you can use the cream and you can get a really shiny shoe just from the cream. So I'll do that here. Okay. Just gonna apply a little more to it because we're not putting polish right away. And I recommend like not wearing a really nice sweater when you're doing this. Okay, so you can see this shoe, it's kind of like a little dull, kind of matted look, right? Because we just put that cream on. You're gonna take your polishing brush, okay? And the key here is people do this. That's not good, okay? What's happening is kind of like the bristles are just staying in place and you're just moving the top. You wanna do like full strokes, okay? So we're just gonna do full strokes. And this will get a lot shinier with just the conditioner, but you won't get that like super shine without the polish, basically. But you're right, like if you like this look with just the cream, it's better to just do that. But if you want that super polished look, you're gonna have to use the shoe polish. I don't know if you guys can see this getting shinier. Yeah, well, yeah. I should have saved that for last because everything else is going to be. I don't hear any oohs and clapping with this one. But yeah, you can get like a pretty shiny shoe just with the conditioner, okay? But we're going to apply the cream, or the polish, just to get the full look, okay? I've misplaced one of my lids. Don't do that either because they will dry out. So for this, I'm going to use an applicator brush. Again, it's that horsehair, okay? And you just want to dab a bit on here. And you want to get a little bit on there. And I like to use the lid to get rid of any excess stuff. I'm just going to dab it like that. Okay? And this is what you're left with. And you're going to apply in like little circles all around the shoe. You just don't want to miss anything. Does anyone have any questions while I'm doing this part?
Yes.
Ooh.
So I'm probably being overly cautious. I don't think you have anything in the current line, but the Firefly Carolinas, like it's that embossed matte shimmer with color shift with a little bit of glitter. So I'm afraid to use anything moisturizing. Do we have? Yeah, I don't think.
I can't picture that in my head. I'm trying to.
I can pull up a picture, but
okay.
So it's, like it's matte, so I don't really want to use something really moisturizing. And I know the brush will work perfectly fine for cleaning, but it's more about keeping it moist and protecting it. I've got an album of all my shoes, so I will pull it up for you here.
Does it have like sparkles on it? Oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's that one. So what do you call that material?
Okay, so yeah, so that's a tough one to wear. So she's showing it. It's an embossed leather with like I don't know if Arabella can speak to the actual material, but it's like the sparkles are like a part of the leather. You want to. I wouldn't spray them because you're talking about moisturizing them again, right? So whenever I want to test, so with those shoes, I'd literally take your shoe, and the best part to test anything on a shoe is on the inside, like right here, okay? Because if you try something there and it doesn't work out, people aren't really going to see that part of your shoe. But the best way to do it is to like actually try something on the leather. For that particular shoe, are you near a Fluevog store? Or anything? I would take it to a Fluevog store and let them work on that. But what I would do is I would probably try like a neutral cream at first and just see how it affects the leather after it dries out, and then work from there. Yeah.
We have another question.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a question. Fluvog's been making all these shoes with these amazing different colors, but I've been looking for the polishes, and I can't find the corresponding polishes to go on the boot. So for instance, I have my favorite violet colored Wanderers that I've worn to death, but now it needs a good polish. And I've been looking for a corresponding violet polish, and there's no violet polish. So my request is, can we please make a violet polish? Or if that's not possible, can you suggest another company that would that might have that color? I know that there are a lot of boots with that beautiful purple, and some of them are high boots, and eventually they're all going to need a polish. But I need that polish.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you. For polish, you're gonna want to use like a. If you're worried about the color. Oh, I see. It's like losing color. So if it's losing color, I really recommend using a conditioner, like the cream, because that really adds a lot of pigment back to the shoe. You can use a neutral cream too, which will pull some up. And you're right, it's not the same. It'll pull up what it can. We do have a lot of varieties in colors. We have purples. It might not be the exact same purple. Oh, Patria has a suggestion.
My suggestion would be to mix some of our burgundy with a little bit of the blue and a little bit of neutral and just work it till you get that color.
Yeah, you can get really crafty with them. Like it is like color theory with paints and stuff too. So you can do that, but there are a lot of varieties, and Le Saphir carries a lot of colors.
Exactly.
We have a lot of colors here. Sometimes you won't have the exact same pigment, and it'll alter the color of the shoe slightly, but that kind of happens with shoes over time. They do tend to change color. I love it, especially with like a brown shoe. John actually, one of the first times he polished my shoes, well, my first time meeting John, he looked at my shoes and they weren't polished, and he's like, your shoes need polish. I was like, great first impression. And yeah. And he took me aside, and it was a light brown Gateway shoe at Brandenburg, and he's like, I'm going to show you how to polish a shoe. And he grabbed the dark brown polish, and he was applying it. And I think as he was doing it, he's like, I have chosen the wrong brown. And I don't know if he remembers this, but I was watching him do it, and we were like... And then you could just see John's brain work. He's like, you know what? This could actually be cool. And then, but it really was like a happy mistake kind of thing. Because basically it was the light brown shoe, and then we applied a dark brown polish. And what happens with your shoes, like leathers, they kind of take the life of the person that wears them on. So like when we were talking about scuffing shoes, different people walk different ways. Your feet make impact different ways. People have different lifestyles, they walk different ways, and the shoe kind of really takes on your characteristics. And then when you polish it with a dark brown over a light brown, it really highlights the contrast in the shoe and like in that wear. And it's called a patina, and like I love that. Like I like product that looks worn and used. Like I like an old denim jacket that's like, and it wears in certain ways, and you can kind of tell stuff about someone's lifestyle. I think that's really cool, and I think I like that more than just something that just looks perfect out of a box, right? Because other people can have that, whereas no one else can have your unique patent shoe or patinaed shoe. But yeah, so I can't remember the question, but that's my answer to that. Yeah. We got another question.
We got one over here.
Oh, hey.
Hi. I've got a pair of natural leather Lorettas. It's like that cowboy sling shoe, and man, have I messed that up. So several items here. I've scuffed it. It's dirty, and I wore them a lot. So anyway, what can I do, without making them all dark again and stuff like that?
So that's a pretty broad. You just beat them up.
Dirty.
Okay.
And a little bit of scuffing.
Okay, so dirty. I would go through the process I'm doing with these, honestly. So at first, like take a brush and just brush off any of that loose dirt that's on the surface, and then a damp cloth. You can wipe off most of the rest, and then you'll see what you're working with, basically. And at that point is when you got to assess: do I need conditioner to bring back some moisture and some color, or do I just want to polish it, or do I need to like take it to a store and get some serious love to it? So
because it's that natural light color, I'm afraid if I do some moisturizing, it's going to make it darker and darker.
So honestly, it will. So when you work with like leather, when you apply conditioner, it does make it a little bit darker. But again, as that, like it got lighter too, right? So that's going to happen again. So you'll darken it, and it'll go through that process of being darker and then lightening again. And that process over and over and over is what gives it that nice patina. You start getting slight variations and stuff.
What's my product?
Your product for that?
Yeah.
So you want to use a neutral conditioner for that.
Neutral conditioner. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So I've applied the polish while we're. Yeah. Thank you. So we've applied the polish here. I'm going to use a horsehair brush again. I really recommend you have a different brush for different products. Okay, you don't want to mix like a red polish with like a black, or if you grab that black polish brush on your red shoes and you're like, oh no, right? So like, don't do that. Write in a big marker what color it is and stuff, and just try to use that same pigment for the same brush, okay? But this is my black brush, okay? We're gonna do the same thing, big strokes, and this will be a little shinier than it was with just the conditioner. Does anyone have any questions while I'm doing this?
Yes.
We got so many questions, this is great.
On the right.
I can't see. There we
Hello. So I have just bought the Bebops, and I'm a colorful person. I love colors, and I got them just the other day, and today's the first time that I'm wearing them, and I'm kind of newer. My first pair of Fluevogs were like a year ago. So,
welcome.
but the fun colors, thank you. Similar to kind of a follow-up about these fun colors. Now they're brand new. Now walking here, I've already got a tiny little spot on them, so I probably need to do something to take care of that. I sold leather for a while, and I understand the patina, and I love the idea that after a while it gets kind of your own unique look. So everything you were talking about, but these are brand new, and there comes a point when you have a brand new shoe and you do a little something to it. You're like, I don't want it to have that quite used loved look yet.
Yeah.
So with colors like this, I'm not quite sure. I don't know. Nobody can see. Whatever. How do you recommend best caring for them so that the color does last as long? And with what the other lady asked, what do we do? Because you don't have the black or the white or the red, or I can't mix a color to look like this. Should I just over time accept that this is going to be like me and unique and very cool?
So
two-part question. What do I do to prevent and then look like, kind of cool and unique?
Yeah. So basically, for the second part, at some point you got to accept it's going to happen. But I totally understand you don't want it to happen right away. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, we got a table and it was like so perfect, and then one coaster ring and I was like, ah. But I tell myself, once it has a whole bunch, it's going to look, right? But that first coaster ring is really irritating, right? And that's what you got right there. So basically, I can't see it from here, but if it's a black mark, then you use we'd start with like a gum eraser, like a natural rubber eraser. It's a really good at like lifting pigments off stuff or dirt that's a little more in there without damaging the shoe. It's like a really soft rubber. Or we'd look at like a polish of some sort, so or a conditioner. It's just a little lighter. So yeah, I would probably use like a. Oh, this little thing.
But it bothers me because they're brand new, right?
It is very minor, but yeah, we can. Yeah. No. I love that you. Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I would use with that. I would use like a little gum eraser and see if it pulled it off. And if that didn't work, then we'd start looking at like conditioners or neutral polishes and stuff to try to pull that color back.
So at the point of sale, I probably would have bought all the stuff to make sure that I should have.
I know, right?
But I didn't think because we were so busy.
Yeah. If only we had a shoe care kit.
We're making notes. We're taking notes about this kit. This is definitely going to happen.
Shoe care kit is just easy to buy as an add-on. So like honestly, everyone, like if you're nervous about any of this, I know you just watched like a little demonstration on this, but if you're nervous, like please use our staff. Like we love to help you, and like the first time you want to polish them, like bring them into the store. If it's a packed Saturday, we probably be like, maybe leave it with us and we'll give it back to you. But if you come in on a slower day, Like I used to love like, I'll show you how to do it, and I'd bring you back, and I'd like polish that shoe with them, show them all the nuances and stuff, and then you leave more confident with how to work on your shoes. So yeah, use us for that.
Andrew, we have another question from online.
Ooh,
over here.
The internet.
Yes. So the question.
Oh, wait, we got all day.
The question is, how often should we do shoe care? And I asked for a few more details, and it says, I've got some of everything. Fabric, patent, leather. I've got over 150 Fluevogs, and other than a few pair of boots that I've been wearing since the 90s, I've never done anything to them but brush and clean after wearing them. So she's interested in learning just if there's kind of a rule of thumb on how often you should be caring for your
150
shoes.
pairs?
Yeah. Like, is there a certain amount of after 3 wears, should she be doing something?
So it's really no. So the answer is no. There's no hard rule on when you should work on your shoes. You really just gotta look at your shoe and be like, does this need help? And that's the answer basically. But if you do look at your shoe and you're like, this needs help, it's best not to avoid that. Like, actually take care of it. Because sometimes, like, we have some customers bring in like shoes that are like, whoa, right? And you're like, can you make this better? And it's like, I can do my best, right? So it's a lot of setting expectations for yourself too. But the more you maintain it, the more frequently you do as it needs that care, the better, basically. Internet person. How's this look? Shinier? Wow. Yes. Ooh, ah.
So my question is for the rub-off leathers.
There you go.
They're not a matte, but they're not a extremely shiny finish. They're kind of
like our Atlas, like
a high
CBCs
polish.
and stuff like that.
Like the Queen Elizabeths and those beautiful rub-off colors. Some of the derbies. It's like a burgundy and black.
Oh, that mixed color kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's like it's kind of like a almost patent, but not quite.
Yeah.
It's in order to get that effect, like I always call it like a glazed leather or whatever. And you're asking like how to protect that or how to
like polish the little nicks and keep it like is it neutral conditioner the best?
Yeah, or you can like again like it depends how crafty you are. Yeah, exactly. Like you can like try to match that part because it's got so much variation in it and stuff.
I love buying like beat up old Vogs.
Yeah. In general though, like if you have like a lot of different colors and stuff, like neutral's the best and stuff. But if you need to really bring back pigment and stuff.
I've got a pair of boots that are like they've been really well loved. They're gouged
good.
and they're like they're awesome. But I would like to kind of bring them back a little bit.
Yeah. So for a difficult one like that, again, like if you can go to a store and like they'll show you how to do it there. But if you can't,
I live in the woods.
Okay. Yeah. If you live deep in the woods, then you can you can basically I'd recommend with like a neutral and then work from there and maybe add color if you need to.
Do you know anything about the new Angelus? There's like a filler, like a leather filler product.
I don't know about that. Angelus, and she's asking about Angelus, which is another shoe care maker, basically. I don't like it as much as Saphir, but they do have some products that like Saphir doesn't make and stuff. So I haven't worked with that, but I would love to.
It's fairly new, yeah.
But again, I test it on that inside part if you can.
Okay.
This part of the shoe where people don't see it as much.
Great.
So this shoe. Polished, before and after, basically. Before, after. Pretty different. Woo! Yay! Okay, you guys are very supportive. Thank you so much.
We have time for
any
more
more?
questions.
I wasn't saying goodbye, but yeah, thank you for
We
that.
have my hand.
Oh, toothpaste. I brought toothpaste. You see? And a toothbrush. Okay, so the question is about toothpaste and why is it up here? Basically for like white leathers, like a white sneaker that you own, this is a great way to make them clean, basically. So toothpaste is like a really fine grit polish. Ooh. And basically, if you can find like a white colored toothpaste, basically, and a toothbrush, you literally just brush your giant shoe-shaped tooth, and then wipe it off with a damp cloth, and it'll do wonders. And the brush gets into like all those little cracks and stuff in the shoe. It's a really another fun household way to clean stuff. So that's why that's up here. Hey.
How do you recommend taking care of velvet? Because I have velvet here.
So velvet is like, it's kind of like a fabric. So I'd recommend like a mild, like a diluted soap, and just like kind of just treat it like you're cleaning like a couch or something like that, because it really is just a fabric. But don't throw it in the washing machine.
Good advice.
Xandra has a question. Can I prioritize Xandra's question? You can use a suede brush to like lift it back up if it gets matted. But usually with velvet, it's not like leather. It's like an actual fabric that you can't lift back up after it's gone because there's nothing left. So velvet, if you do take a chunk out of it, that chunk's kind of there, it's gone. Yeah, you can't really bring that back. But if it gets matted, you can lift it up a bit with the suede brush.
My biggest sadness in my the life of my shoes is when the inside of them, like, pulls apart from the out, like it just doesn't fit the same because maybe something's torn or something inside, and they don't fit as well anymore. My foot is not happy in them.
Maybe like the footbed peels out or something.
Yeah, like is there any process that can be repaired, or that we can better take care of the actual inside of our shoes?
So the inside, moisture's the enemy basically of shoes. So basically, truly shoe trees really work really well. Okay, because again, this wood will absorb moisture. It creates airflow in the shoe, so it can again dry it out. If you're like, usually it's like the glues that are failing. You can put a new like footbed in here, or sock liner basically. That's not hard to do. Cobbler can do that. We actually have like leather insoles that you can just replace it with. Yeah. That's kind of the answer, but you wanna don't keep it damp for a long time. Like try to have it dry out, because if it stays wet for a long time, yeah, water's like it's very reactive material, or not material, substance basically, and it breaks things down really well.
I have one last question.
Last question, okay.
The cranberry Xenes, the distressed
that
red,
like metallic-y,
right?
Yeah.
How best to polish those?
So those you're not really gonna polish. We talked about Angelus a bit here. Angelus makes like a variety of paints, and they make like metallic paints. So like Angelus has a really big selection. I would go on like their website and like order from there. But I would be willing to bet they have like a reddish metallic that you can use to like touch stuff up.
I actually did that with
Oh. You didn't even have to ask me. Right beside you. Yeah.
I used like a pink shoe cream.
Yeah.
And it restored the color where it got distressed, but the metallic still came through.
Oh.
And they look amazing.
Hey. So maybe another thing is you can ask the Flummunity, and we'll crowdsource answers too. Yeah. That was my last one.
Guys, let's hear it for Andrew.
Hey.
Come on down. Amazing. I could listen to him all day. I think one of the highlights was shoe-shaped tooth. That was fantastic. That is one of our most popular segments because, well, for obvious reasons, everybody wants to know how they can take care of their Fluevogs. Andrew, thanks again. Thank you for being here. We love that this exists. We love doing this. I have to thank a whole bunch of people for making this possible. Little ripple for our AV team that's been with us this time. Fantastic, guys. Also, in terms of Fluvogologists, we have people from Amsterdam, from Minneapolis, from Portland, and a huge contingent from Vancouver. Honestly, it's been tireless work by all these people for months and months to pull this off. So let's have a ripple for those guys as well. Really awesome. Another really special thanks to Josh and the team here at Queen Street and Chai and the team in the distillery. These guys are also unbelievable, really good. And on that note, the Fluvogologists everywhere, oh my gosh, okay. The Fluvogologists everywhere who are in those stores when you walk in, who help you, who smile, who are there to help you with any of your shoe issues or other issues. Those teams are just tireless and fantastic. I think we can all agree. They're the ones who fulfill all your web orders, who make sure that you've got the right size, who sometimes put little special notes in there and little presents when they can. Honestly, a huge hand to all of the Fluvogologists around the world would be great. Also, for designing incredible shoes and for letting us try to do something as ridiculous as being a retail design company trying to run an annual conference to celebrate community, love, and fun. We have to thank John Fluvog himself. On that note, we hope you've enjoyed Flummunity Fest this year. We hope to see you next year. Most importantly, thank you for being a community and a Flummunity, because it's not possible without all the people in this room, all the people around the world who celebrate Fluvog. It's the most important thing. So if you came from another country to be here, if you're watching online, if you came from another city or another postal code, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for buying the shoes. Thank you for Fluvogging, and get home safe.